What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. White man explains how absolutely irresponsible and dangerous that meeting was with the generals that Pete Hagstaff had. It was irresponsible and dangerous. No tactical leader would ever call all your top, most critical, most experienced leaders into one place, announce it days before, and then live stream the meeting for the entire world to see. You disrespected America's best leaders in front of the world. You disrespected them in front of your enemies and your allies. That is the worst tactical decision any so-called leader could make. And I think that is consistent with the unprofessionalism of Pete Hagstaff, because he's the same guy. Y'all got to remember, he's the same guy that was tweeting and messaging an unsecure messenger to his friends live military operations during the operation, putting military personnel in danger. Pete Hagstaff is the most unqualified Secretary of Defense America has ever had. And there are real world consequences for having incompetent leaders. If this is what happens when you get rid of DEI, you put an unqualified white man because that's the standard, then we got a problem in America. And I'm getting sick and tired of people use DEI as something that you hire unqualified black people into positions instead of giving it to a qualified white person. What DEI did was hire qualified black people or people of color, despite the fact that they're colored or black, because usually within the system created, unqualified white men tend to get the position over the most qualified black or brown person. That's what DEI is. DEI was fighting against institutionalized racism. In this racist neo-Nazi administration, along with Pete Hagstaff, who has a big racist neo-Nazi tattoo on his chest, when has proven to be racist, has proven to be incompetent, and has proven to be an ineffective leader, has further pushed the narrative that black people and brown people are not qualified simply based off the color of their skin. And he low-key attacked black people within that speech by talking about hair standards, because anytime you hear them talk about cutting their beards, they're talking about black people, because you know black people have situations with their skin where their hair turns around and it causes razor bumps. So there are a lot of black people who have to get shaving waivers. White people don't tend to have that problem as much, but most black military personnel have that. So when you heard him talk about the shaving standards, he was directly talking about African people, black people, and people of color who have African DNA and have that same particular issue. He's a racist piece of shit, and he's unqualified, and he's making the military and our defense weaker for him being there. But anyway, let's let this white man speak and tell you how absolutely dangerous and unprofessional it was that he called all of our top generals to a meeting where he can beat his chest and make himself a promo video when he could have literally emailed it to them while they were doing their jobs protecting America. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Please understand the point of view of a senior U.S. military leader who got called to this meeting in Quantico that just ended. You got pulled out of your job, some of these in combat commands, to sit in a meeting in a photo op that was live streamed and could have been an email. And the people you got yanked across the world to listen to included people like Keg's Breath, who has a series of sexual assault allegations, domestic abuse allegations, financial mismanagement, leaked classified information that threatened the lives of soldiers, and then just recently made sure that a number of individuals who massacred hundreds of men, women, and children unarmed at Wounded Knee were going to get their medals. And then he was followed by the President of the United States, an individual who is at the center of a PDF network investigation that is actively getting the Republican Party to cover for him, who has on numerous occasions slandered the U.S. military, losers and suckers, calling POWs weak because they got captured, destroying Veterans Affairs and the care for veterans, saying he didn't want to be around disabled veterans, attacking Gold Star families of men and women who have died in service to this country. fighting staff members at Arlington so he could get a photo op. This was last year. Getting soldiers to roll out the red carpet on their hands and knees for Vladimir Putin. Taking the opportunity to have a parade sponsored by an energy drink and UFC for the Army's 250th birthday. Absolutely disgracing them. And what did they have to tell you when you came all that way, right? They said, if you don't like what I'm saying, then you can leave. Motherfucker, they were never there for you in the first place. They were never there for the previous guy. They're there for the country and the Constitution and the men and women sitting next to them. That's who they're fucking there for. So all this bullshit about turning, the military from a soft, woke organization that happened to fight in Afghanistan and Iraq and multiple other conflicts throughout history, into this fierce, fighting force, except you're taking a shit ton of their money, quality of care, and sending it to the border for, fences that don't work. And, using money to build your damn ballroom. Like, that doesn't fly. And they can say all these things, like they can say all these like strong words, and warrior ethos and all of that bullshit. But it's coming from weak people. It's coming from weak people. You have a guy with allegations of domestic abuse, sexual assault, alcoholism, putting the lives of military members in jeopardy because he wanted to invite a reporter in there and put it on Signal, which is against the rules with no fucking accountability, which the military is built on accountability, and another guy who's at the center of PDF network allegations and trying to cover that shit up with a history of trashing the military. So they can say all they want. They can say all they want. But all that did, the only thing that meeting did was to cement the disrespect that these generals have for those individuals. They can respect the position, but those individuals, all it did was just lower that respect, if there even was any. Because you have to understand, these are unserious people who are pretending to be serious, and these men and women smell through that bullshit. They absolutely do. So don't buy into the propaganda. Don't buy into all the crap, Fox and everything. Like, oh, the military loves them and it was great. Look at these pictures. That is not the way it fucking went. All right. You had two unserious, unprofessional, broken ass people talking to a room full of honorable individuals who have had bonds to this country and the Constitution and to each other forged in battle. So, yeah, just make sure you're aware of that and, don't pay attention to these assholes.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.